5, 4.
When last we left our heroes, Lilith Willowwind, one of the keepers of Bride Hollow, astounded by the day's events, said she had to speak with the custodians. In short order, all our heroes received an invitation to attend the Tryst, an informal gathering of the custodians after the close of the Grand Symposium. Lilith told everyone that they would be called via the messaging pendants when the custodians were ready for them. While awaiting their summons, our heroes reported for their security detail as normally scheduled, shortly after receiving a distress call from Lilith, asking for help dealing with some ogres at the North Gatehouse. Our heroes arrived just in time to witness one of the ogres come barreling through Lilith's wall of fire and strike her down. Our heroes responded by making short work of the ogres. Titus hastened to revive the fallen Lilith, while Xanthion remained enamored with his newly domesticated pet pig. The summons from the custodians followed soon after, and Lilith escorted our heroes to Talabayerd, the mansion on the hill overlooking Bright Hollow. Specifically, she led our heroes to the secret chamber buried far beneath Talabayerd and hidden behind a secret door in the cellar, where the custodians were waiting around a table warded by an abjuration circle. After the custodians did their best to put our heroes' minds at ease, Felix and Titus took the opportunity to query the bards about some of their more peculiar experiences. The party was soon interrupted by a newcomer, a man named Obed Valaxian, who introduced himself as a member of an order known as the Vigilant Wardenry. Valaxian revealed that the strife in the Feywild was not an isolated event, with discord spreading throughout the Shadowfell and the border ethereal as well. Getting ahead of himself, Valaxian paused and refocused, deciding to start from the beginning. Glancing at the custodians around their warded table, he clears his throat and begins to speak. 276 years ago, Zekarist aligned more fully with the great wheel of the multiverse in a cosmic event colloquially referred to as the Confluence. For the first time in history, naturally occurring crossings between our world and the parallel material planes of the Feywild, Shadowfell, and border ethereal were discovered. Creatures from these planes, as well as the outer and inner planes, could enter Zekarist for the first time. Moreover, Zekarist began to feel the influence of these planes, even without anything directly crossing over. In short, the confluence gave rise to an uncountable number of new potential threats, and so it also gave rise to us. The Vigilant Wardenry was established to guard against threats from outside our world, and we have been busy. As a formerly cloistered world, Zekarist has gained the attention of many players on the interplanar stage. As a potential source of untapped resources, powerful beings have turned their eye to us, and we have stared right back, unflinching. As you have attested, Lord Octavius, forces are mounting in the parallel material planes. The border ethereal is filling up with aberrant horrors. In the Feywild, the gloaming court is embroiled in a civil war. In the Shadowfell, a rogue faction of Shadar Kai have seceded from the Raven Queen's dominion. The nexus of all of these events just happens to be those areas that most closely border our world. And there seems to be a singular force emboldening all of the separate actors. For the first time, we believe we might know who it is. At this, the custodians around the table lean forward in captivated attention. Even Numenot Hyacinth, who has thus far done his best to seem entirely disinterested with the whole affair.
And who is it?
And just as you say this, Uxin Pavel sits up as well and says, "What can you tell us, Lord what can you tell us, Master Valaxian?" Obed Valaxian bows his head for a moment, pauses, regains his thoughts, clears his throat. There is reason to believe that the afflicted communion is positioning themselves in spreading this undead plague across Zekarist. Our intelligence indicates that they have found an accomplice in this endeavor, a lich-like creature of another world by the name of Phaedron Corvain. We believe it is this Corvain who has created this new strain of undead that has unleashed this plague across Zekarist.
Felix looks to everyone and goes, "Well, That sounds eerily striking, doesn't it? Before we get too far, pardon me, custodian of the College of Whispers, what was your name again?
Numinot Hyacinth. Hold on just 1 second. Yeah. No, I'm good. All right, love you. Numinot Hyacinth is his name.
Wait, are you saying that as Shannon, or
I'm saying that as Shannon.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm sorry. Were you asking that in game?
In game, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, so he just leans back again after sitting up a little bit. He's like, Numinot Hyacinth. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr.
Felix.
Felix.
Pleasure to make yours. A quick query. No offense to you for trying to take the spotlight or anything, but that noise that was playing earlier, you said that sounded familiar, correct?
And Obed Valaxian shifts his focus from the bards to you and takes a few steps toward you. Says, yes, that is a sound that I have heard before.
Numinot, is it all right if I use your first name?
We're all friends here.
All right, well, just figured I'd be formal. Perhaps you could look into my memory and then project the image of what I saw in the astral sea. You've already heard the sound, but maybe the image might give us all a better understanding of what this thing is, or maybe our new acquaintance here might know something we don't.
Emma, upon hearing all that stuff about other material planes, has just kind of sat down and plopped in the stairs and on the step and is looking at the floor.
Okay. And what is Felix's passive insight?
Good question, because I need to get to him. Felix's passive insight, probably not that high. I'd say probably 11, honestly. But let me double check. Yeah, 11.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an insight check, just in case.
Okay. Oh, whoops, did it whisper to you?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. I'll change it back to public. I don't know why it was a whisper.
It's all right. I still got it. Okay. Yeah. So you say this, and Numinot kind of sits up and is like, I mean, I suppose I could be of assistance in that regard. Usually don't have people inviting me into their minds, but sure, why not?
By all means. And Felix focuses on that memory.
Spells. Okay. So Numinot stands up and walks around the table to you so that you're face to face. Let me take a look at detect thoughts real fast. Oh, actually, no, never mind. He doesn't even have to get up. Sorry. It's got a range of 30 feet. So yeah, he just traces his fingers in the air, muttering to himself. And you are intentionally failing the saving throw?
Yes.
Okay. Just kind of stares at you for a minute, and it's that weird sensation of like his eyes lock yours as soon as he's done like weaving the incantation, and it's almost like the light in the rest of the room just fades, as it almost seems like the only thing in your reality at the moment is just you and him, and it's like you can feel yourself once again, for the second time in a relatively short period of time, somebody being inside your own head. Go ahead and roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, look. How did I get switched to Whisper? 13.
Having experienced it with Lilith, it's a little bit easier to keep your thoughts focused because the initial shock, while this is still an exceptionally unsettling experience, the initial shock of having your deepest, most personal thoughts exposed to somebody else, since you have experienced it before, you're a little bit less taken aback by the experience. And Numenot comes to himself. That's slightly terrifying.
Now, can you project that for everyone to see?
Yeah. Let's see what he's got as far as. It's not going to be very much, but yeah, sure. And he just twirls his hand and uses prestidigitation. And right in the center of the table, there is just a tiny little image playing out of the experience that you had. So everybody around the table sees just a tiny little like holographic projection sort of. Say what?
Can I pop the sound too so they get the full effect?
Yeah, absolutely.
So taking that cue, he twiddles his fingers, I twiddle mine.
And I actually remember what folder it's in this time, so it's not going to take so long. This is what happens when you're too entirely dedicated to.
While this is happening, I'm going to be reading the table and everybody in here, just trying to get a feel for what they think of all of this.
Make an insight check.
It is disturbing.
Imagine this playing when it was a one-on-one session with me and Shannon.
God.
Do you remember my reaction, Shannon?
Mm-hmm. No, this wasn't the one-on-one. This was when you met Estelle in the
Oh, I thought that
Astral
was
Sea.
I thought that was a separate one. Oh, shoot.
No, that was during a regular session.
Oh, so everyone should have heard it already. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, because you have never explained it. You were by yourself. You were in the Astral Sea.
Oh, that's right.
18. Okay, so with an 18, the immediate thing that you notice, Titus, is that everybody, all 7 other bards in conjunction at Felix's suggestion that Numenot be allowed to like peer into his mind, obviously think this is one of the worst ideas they've ever heard. But in an overabundance of decorum, do not speak up. But it's just kind of like that weird glance around the table where it's like, oh honey,
Why would you do that?
don't poke the bear. But anyway, and then once the illusion pops up, everybody kind of sits forward and looks, and what you see in this like little tiny, like about 1 foot cube, is this floating disc in this expansive sea. Hold on. In this expansive sea of gossamer darkness, with this, although miniature scale, obviously to scale, quite a bit taller than Felix, blue-skinned, bald, winged creature, humanoid, with aquamarine skin, just slowly hovering and rotating, looking out from the disc. And as suddenly there is this massive writhing tendrils of darkness making this sound appears out in the distance, and you watch as the and this is prestidigitation, so it's limited just to visual, because it's Felix who's providing the sound, and he basically dismisses Felix, who is pulled by his silver cord back toward a portal, while the winged creature brandishes a flaming blue sword and rushes forward toward this massive, kind of like, the best way to describe it is it just kind of looks like an undulating ball of worms, but made out of darkness and shadow. And the blue-skinned, angelic-looking creature rushes forward with its sword held high, just as Felix disappears through a portal and the entire illusion just fades.
And then Felix snaps the sound away. And he looks over at the Vigilant Wardenry member. So you know what that was?
Well, I'm not going to profess to know every in and out of it, but I'm certain that it has something to do with any number of aberrant races. My instinct is to believe it was possibly a beholderkin, but much larger than anything we have seen before. Is that the only time that you've seen something of this nature?
That's the only time that I've ever seen that, yes. We met the Lich, a rather unwelcoming individual who somehow, and Felix looks down at Emma. Does he notice the sort of downcast visage?
Yeah, it's not hard to tell. I mean, she seems to have quite a
she's
weight
not
on her
hiding
shoulders.
it.
Felix sort of steps back, steps through the fire, and just sort of puts a hand on her shoulder.
And I imagine as the Lich is mentioned, her nails sort of scrape at this stone, not doing any damage, but just sort of.
Felix just, it's all right. It's all right. We'll get him. He somehow knew Emma's father, or his likeness, used it to fool us, and then proceeded to attack us after we realized it was a farce. I would venture to say that he has some kind of connection.
He ran like a coward.
Would Felix know the spell that was used as he escaped?
Roll me
Arcana?
Arcana.
Okay. Come on, don't fail me now. What is it, 14? Oh, Jesus, Mary, Mother of God.
But wait a minute. What is your passive Arcana?
15.
15 actually is high enough on its own. It was Thunderstep.
So he cast Thunderstep, which usually is a warlock spell. Correct? It's not on the sorcerer spell list, right?
Let me take a look real quick.
I thought that's what it was.
No, it's available for sorcerer, warlock, and wizard.
Okay. So retracting that, my apologies. I thought it was on the warlock spell list only. Use Thunderstep, which, if it wasn't for the motif of his lair, I would assume he was just a wizard or a sorcerer. But seeing how he made his lair fit with tentacled motifs and statues of aberrant creatures in the bowels of the tomb of Neomachius, I would venture to guess, oh yes, and he looks over at Xanthion, and that one stuck his head in a portal to the far realm. Yes.
Just kind of like a long, slow glance over.
He's not the brightest. Is he petting the pig? So as he pets the pig, it's like, he's lucky he's cute. Both, yes, both. Yes. And then he ran with the reincarnated bodies of Neomachius and 2 of his retainers.
Well, that certainly squares with what we are aware of. We weren't entirely certain what caused his flight from the area, but we know that he has absconded.
And Felix looks around. Who has the book? Who Who has the book?
Uxan
Titus, do you?
Pavel. No, Uxan Pavel raises it up.
Oh, Master Pavel. Did you inform... You seem to have had a familiarity with him. Did you inform him of the experiment, or should I?
We have not actually had a chance to discuss anything with Master Verlaxian. He is late in arriving.
So Felix just whips around kind of mid-sentence and goes, he was trying to combine shadows with the undead, which is what leads apparently to this ravenous hunger, which is contagious. Somehow ripping out elements of both and fusing them together, making them contagious zombies.
And he... Could I see this book that you're speaking of?
Oh, Master Pavel, do you have it on you?
Yes. And he walks over and grabs it from the Dragonborn. He's flipping through it. Just like,
All the while, Felix is kind of consoling Emma.
got it. Yes. Well, this is fascinating. Could I keep this to study it for a day?
Of course. You know more than we do.
Well, I hope to remedy that. It seems that you have been invaluable to the efforts of the Wardenry without even being aware that you were assisting us.
The next thing, however, is the name Varine scribbled in the margins. So Felix is saying all this kind of like crouched down next to Emma, hand on like the upper back shoulder, just sort of like giving the at a kid. Varine, we have a contract, looks at Petra. We have a contract to perform for her at her manor. But her name came up in this book. We found out that she's apparently a purveyor of curiosities and strange sort of dealings. We don't know if they're connected or if she was a possible acquirer of materials for his experiments. But we'll be heading there. Looks over at Titus. Titus, what was it? Was it the April 1st?
Yes.
April 1st. Thank you.
Titus kind of shakes himself out of his memories and yes.
Well, that is very interesting. Madame Verine has developed quite a reputation as a solver of problems, but for someone like this Corvain to inquire for her services.
Would Felix, like the name Corvain, because it's really similar to... Oop.
Be right back.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Take 5. Felix is just sitting there. You doing all right, kiddo?
Emma is torn between rage and about to cry. And she has some questions, but she's gonna wait.
So, I mean, this is all stuff that Felix is just going to look at her and go, what was your favorite kind of flower again?
God, you gonna really make me remember that?
Ah.
It was one of the flowers in the Feywild. Shannon probably has it in his fucking plethora of notes.
Yeah, I mean, 5 pages of them. Yeah, I'm assuming he probably does.
I didn't write it down. I didn't think that would be an important detail to keep long term.
He's just like, this is just, ancillary. Why not?
Yeah.
Shannon will revisit you with the most obscure shit. Might as well go back and rewatch to figure out what that flower was.
I'm not gonna find it in time.
Hurry, hurry!
I might go back and rewatch later if Shannon doesn't remember. But I don't know.
For now, you could say it was a fey tulip.
I know it was some flower that was only in the Feywild.
Let's see. Describe the smell.
The spell?
The smell of the flower.
Oh yeah. Emma would like just raise up her cape because that she already scented it for that. Because that was why we picked the flower thing.
Oh, a little bit of static.
Emma would just kind of raise up her cape so Felix could get a smell of it, because that was why we picked out the flower. I remember now. I don't remember what it was, but I remember Emma made it smell like.
Because for some reason, whenever you were describing the flower, like it's an obscure flower in the Feywild and all this, my brain went to the Dragon Prince. Did you ever watch that?
That was a good cartoon.
It is, and
Almost
it's,
Avatar
Dragon
good.
Prince.
Almost
And
Avatar good.
they're coming out with more episodes, more
Yeah.
series.
I'm excited for Dragon Prince. I love Dragon Prince.
It was good, but
It
I
was
just as
really
soon
good.
as you started talking about her favorite flower, I was like, okay, and then like the image of the main character and the Moonshay elf like
Mhm.
walking through Zadia's open border and like the fart flowers. I just kept thinking of the fart flowers. Oh god.
All right, sorry about that.
Hey, Shannon.
Yeah.
Do you remember what we called Emma's favorite flower from the Feywild?
Curveball number 2.
Let me see if I wrote it down. I doubt I did.
So reason he's asking is Felix is trying to console Emma and she's on the border of anger and grief, and he was asking her what is her favorite flower.
And if I can, Shannon, I'd like to summon one with Druidcraft, just in her hand.
Okay, what I have written down in my notes is, and I don't know if this is because you found it somewhere or because it was your favorite flower, but I've got pink sanguinary written down.
That was
in
it.
notes.
That was it. That was
Okay.
it. Because we talked about, somebody made a joke about, oh, it's probably the death blooms, and we were like, no, those smell like corpses.
Yes. Yep. And it is called that because it is a pink bulb with flowering leaves, and the leaves actually look like they have veins in them.
Mhm.
And then when the flower dies in the fall, it actually looks like it's bleeding out of the veins as it withers.
Yeah, Emma's just gonna like make summon like a small illusion copy with Druidcraft.
Quite a reaction from Ben there. What?
I'm watching Morlo sneak into the room.
Orlo just walking around. Kidding.
Orlo just comes back. He's got like a pony keg of beer. Like, what I miss? No, Felix.
That's fantastic. That's amazing.
Very Morlo.
Nobody notices the turtle because he's so quiet.
So Felix sort of prestidigitations the smell to be a little bit more intense. And just think about your favorite flower. Why is it your favorite?
The cycle is exaggerated.
Exaggerated. That's a good word.
And she like the illusion of the flower, she shows it when it starts to die in the fall.
All things have a cycle. All things have a season. Things get worse before they get better.
At this point, as he is flipping through the book, Obed Valaxian, standing relatively close to you, just says, "Well said." And then as he looks up, his eyes go to Emma for just a moment, and you can see a look of interest come across his face, but he leaves it be for the moment.
Would Felix have noticed that?
Roll an insight check.
Insight or perception?
Insight.
Okay.
You see him. Let's see if you understand what the look on his face meant.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Emma doesn't know.
We rolling hot today, boys.
Dude, let's get all of the crap rolls out of the way during social interaction. Okay, let's just get those out of our system. So yeah, no, you're well, and it's appropriate. You're completely focused on trying to console Emma. So Valaxian says, "Yes, it would be bizarre to think of someone such as Madame Verine assisting Phaedron Corvain with trying to create this plague. I've never known her to be a person who looks to work against society on a grand scale."
She seems to be one who dabbles in fringe topics or fringe oddities. Is it so out of character to think that she might have malicious intent?
Make no mistake, the affairs of Internera Verine are not of this world. But
Is she mortal?
your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, that's reassuring, considering we have to go see her in about a week.
Be wary.
She could be unknowingly helping.
Oh my god, I just saw how my cat is perched in my shot. This is amazing.
Just
Until they bed on your keyboard.
meow.
So, be wary, but be mindful. There might be much information to glean during your performance, you say.
Points over to Petra. She signed a contract in blood. Which might color my opinion of her slightly, but you never know.
Well, it doesn't surprise me to hear that. She deals in strange bargains. You say that you also knew this, that you've had previous experience with Phaedron Corvain.
Yes. He damn near killed us.
That could be to our aid. Unfortunately, your trip to Verine Manor will be taking you in the opposite direction of where we believe he is headed.
Do you believe he's headed out of the Amber Vale?
No,
Towards the coast?
deeper into it. We believe the last information that we have places him on route to River Run.
River Run.
And just to switch over to the world map so that you guys know where that is.
Why in all goodness gracious would he go to River Run?
And that is this area right here. The three cities of Eldweiss, Ingbrotten, and Idelhausen together are collectively known as River Run because they all lie along the shores of the river Ingweisen as it makes its way toward Elmswain. And then as to the question that you posed, Felix, he just says, for all we know, he has another hideout there. We don't know.
I'm wondering, is there any significance as to why he would be in the tomb of Neomachius aside from test subjects?
Nothing that we have uncovered. As it is a location long hidden, if one were wishing to do experiments beyond the pale of what is morally acceptable.
So then I guess I have another question for you. Did you know about the tomb of Neomachius and its location before?
No.
Well,
But we did have reason to believe that that might have been where he was.
And Felix sort of pats Emma on the shoulder, says nothing, stands up, gets really close to him, like going nose to nose, and then last second sort of dips and just whispers in his ear, there might be some important information that needs to be kept secret from certain parties. Parties that would abuse the information, or parties that might store it and hide it away from the world. Something to do with Kalis Lightcloak and 3 Hollow Kings. And
He
sort
just
of steps back.
nods.
Sorry.
He just nods. And from the table, you hear Uxan Pavel speak up, and he says, well, Master Valaxian, not to tear you away from the history lesson, but what can you tell us? What news can you bring us? And Obed Valaxian says, yes, of course, I apologize for my late arrival, that I could not be here in time for you to disseminate the information that I bring during the Grand Symposium. Hold on 1 second.
Why is the cat not showing us his butt? Oh, there we go. That's better. Thank you.
Dad.
Let the record show that Jim requested that.
It's a no from me.
Oh my god.
Hmm? Oh, Jim, Dean wants to know if you're hungry. Always.
I'm not.
Obed Valaxian says, yes, I apologize that my late arrival means that you will not be able to disseminate the information I bring during the Grand Symposium, but hopefully you can get the word out. I do have an update on the state of things regarding the plague spreading across Sangamet and Sultamachia. As I am sure you no doubt know, Elmswain is now under lockdown. The city would most likely have fallen if it were not for the assistance of an herbalist named...
Ellie Hofbauer.
Yes, that is it.
God
It seems that
bless
she
her.
was she got out in front of it just in time. They're still struggling with the numbers, but they seem to be staying ahead of the curve. The most pertinent new information that I bring you is that Parasus is fighting an outbreak as we speak. It seems to be under control, but it is confirmed to have infiltrated at least one of the 3 kingdoms.
How bad is the outbreak?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How bad is the outbreak?
We believe it to be contained for the time being. The shepherds of Savork have moved in and are lending assistance to the king and the Trirexian Legion in sorting out the infected from the uninfected.
Which ward? What are we and Felix, at this point, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the outer city? We're talking about the inner city? We're talking about the fells?
There it is. Ooh, nice out. Primarily the Straits and South Road, specifically South Road outside of the city wall.
Okay, 1 second. Trying to find.
How close is that to the academy, Shannon?
The academy is in Low Hook. The Straits border Low Hook, but Low Hook is actually, but the academy is closer to Spire Watch. So it could be reasonably close, but we're talking about maybe the difference between being like in, I don't know, to put it in perspective, would be like the difference between being in downtown Kingsport versus like where the Kingsport Mall used to be. Okay, so
Gotcha.
What of the Silk Bowl?
As we understand it, the outbreak is at the moment contained in southern Parasus, specifically the Straits and South Road. We have not heard of it spreading beyond there.
And close to Spire Watch, too. What of the
Yes.
noble families?
Spire Watch has been completely secluded from the rest of the city.
No,
No
that's
one-
typical noble behavior, but still, any high-profile victims? The last thing we need is one of the three kingdoms to fall to some sort of catastrophe.
Indeed. To the best of our knowledge, it has not touched any of the functioning government of Parasus at the current time. This is all recent information coming to the Wardenry. I wish I could bring you more information. This is obviously a subject close to your interests.
It's strategy. What of Anmar and Cortain?
No reports of the plague inside of Anmar or Cortain. However, we have had the first city collapse due to the plague.
Elmsway.
No.
No?
Elmswain is out in front of it. Portavero in Tramsildam has been completely overrun. And at this point, Syncope, the tiefling custodian, sits up a bit and says, completely overrun? Yes. There are survivors, of course, but the city itself is lost.
Overrun by this undead.
Yes. Unfortunately, it had a chance to take root in the city before they realized what they were dealing with. By that point, it was too far gone. As people continued to die, they continued to come back, and eventually the authorities were completely overrun.
Wait a second. South Road and Low Hook. Which city in Tramsildam?
Portavero.
They're attacking from two
You said-
fronts.
You said that the Afflicted Communion wasn't abetting this?
We have reason to believe. We have found relics associated with their blasphemy in certain areas.
Well then, they're cutting him off. They're cutting off the three kingdoms from Tramsildam in the sea trade. They're cutting off the small towns from the three kingdoms, and now they're circling around the three kingdoms, cutting off Parasus. This is organized warfare.
Yes. And we believe that this Phaedron Corvain is at the heart of the entire matter. What purpose he serves, we do not know, but we know he is not of Zekarist. So whatever interest he has with the Afflicted Communion, it has to be an arrangement of convenience.
Saltamachia?
Yes, Sultamachia
Excuse me, sorry.
That's all right. Bless you.
Bless you, Natari makes the sign of the Blessed Mother.
And actually, as he looks over at you, you notice his eyes linger on you for just a moment, Emma, as he says, bless you.
Emma looks up. And she's paying attention to the conversation now. She's not looking at the floor anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Can Felix do an insight check on this?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, God. He's better than the last one, but 11.
And let's see what Emma gets. 6. You're still too emotional, Emma, to really be paying much of attention to like what's going on in other people's mind. With an 11, you can definitely see an academic curiosity burning in this guy's eyes. He notices that something is off kilter about her appearance.
Felix just sort of like dips in. Hey, up here. Something wrong with the child?
I suppose it would be better if you.
I mean, we're talking about the end of the world here, so let's be frank.
Is she a fae?
Oh.
Emma kind of stops and then sighs and lets the shape change drop.
Okay.
That is her story to tell. It is not mine. Emma?
And Obed Valaxian comes walking over to you slowly so as to not startle you with an aggressive approach. And he kneels down in front of you so that you're sitting on the steps of the second to last rung of this little amphitheater type indentation on the floor. He comes and so that he is like basically right there, sitting right behind Florgren Gott at the table, and goes down on one knee so that with his height difference and being lower and on his knee, he meets you gaze to gaze.
And again, I'm watching the whole room during this conversation.
Emma just kind of breathes for a couple seconds and she looks at him and she goes, I don't fully understand it myself. This is a recent development. Just today, actually. Or has it been a day or was it yesterday?
That was
yesterday.
That was from yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just last evening, actually. A punishment from Maloff for avoiding his power.
Maloff. How do you know this name, little girl?
He's my patron.
Felix kind of looks over to Dylan Fiasco. Kind of like the universal. There it is.
Huh. You must be a very brave little girl to carry such a life-changing burden and do it with such strength.
I don't know what I am anymore.
Well, 17. Okay, with that roll, Ben, definite interest from everyone at the table now that the subject, because obviously Lilith would have told the custodians what happened yesterday to Emma. Now they're kind of perking up a little bit to hear some firsthand information.
I'm mainly trying to judge any judgment, I guess is what I'm looking for. If they're making any judgment.
No.
All right.
definite interest, but I mean, as far as like judgment, this is a pretty eclectic bunch, and from what you gather, with a 17 especially, this is a group of people who probably are more accustomed to receiving judgment than doling it out. Obed Valaxian leans in a little bit closer to you, Emma, and says, well, I can only posit a guess. But if I were to take such a guess, I would imagine that you are an as of yet undiscovered new form of plane touched. Since the confluence, the influence of the inner and outer planes, the upper and lower planes, have been able to weave their way into the fabric of our reality and touch certain people, granting them powers and abilities that we had never seen on Zekarist before. Primarily, this comes from either the celestial realm, the infernal realm, or the elemental chaos. Now, I would have to study the effects on you a bit more, but from first glance, I would have to imagine that this is a similar effect sprouting through the barrier between the Prime and the Feywild. Could I ask how a girl so young came to forge a bargain with a being such as Maloth?
And she just she takes a deep breath and kind of holds her head in her hand. And
as you do that, Obed Valaxian, sorry for talking with my mouth full, he says, if you would rather not speak of it, of course, I understand. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
It's fine. I just... Long story short, I don't know much about it, but I think my mother had dealings with Mayaloff, and I know she died, and Pa took me far away. And I met a friend, and she makes she ups another like a little illusion with Druidcraft in the palm of her hand of a bumpkin. So it's this little like short dude is like black and oozing, and
kind of looks like a little dark-skinned goblin, but has like this like
sludge,
viscous like something dripping off of it.
And Bumpkin was the only one I knew, talked to for a while, and he would always tell me about the Feywild. And I realize now that he was a servant, a trickster. But at the time, he was my only friend. So, when he opened up a portal to the Feywild, I went with him. And He took me to Mayaloff, who said I couldn't leave.
I'm very sorry to hear of your plight.
And I was there for a long, long time. But I ended up making a deal with him. He would give me the power to go find Paw. And I became his warlock.
Emma, just sort of meekly chiming in. Tell him what age you last remember.
How do you pronounce that again?
Erethnir.
Erethnul?
Erethnir.
And she kind of looks up. She, like, every now and then she was glancing away from the guy as she was giving her explanation, but she looks up and like makes eye contact, and she goes, "The third age of Erethnir." And I don't. Everyone I've talked to doesn't know what that is. So that makes me believe I'm from one of those other material planes you were talking about. And she just kind of hugs her knees and she just mutters to herself, "I just want to go home."
Felix is going to walk back over and just sit by her.
Shannon, I sent you a message.
I got it. Thank you for sharing, Emma.
She nods and just watches him.
He just stands up and turns back toward the table. He says, "Well, I'm sure as young Emma here could attest, her patron is spearheading the chaos that has embroiled the Feywild. He is leading the crusade against the Queen of Air and Darkness."
Last I heard, he implied that he's already taken over.
At this point, you notice some of the bards around the table also sitting up at that mention, and Valaxian turns back to you. He's told you he's already won.
He told me that when he changed me, when he turned me into this thing, that it was my punishment for displeasing the King of Air and Darkness.
I mean, he turns back and looks at the table of bards, and the custodians kind of look around at each other a bit, and Syncope, the tiefling, sits up and says, "It's the first I've heard of it." And Dylan Fiasco says, "Well, I mean, there's always one way to be sure. It's always best to just go straight to the source on these things." And he reaches down under his collar and he pulls up his messaging pendant. And he holds it up to his mouth, and you hear him whisper, Ninier, are you busy? Yeah, could you swing by? Yeah, we're downstairs. Just have some questions for you. Thanks. And he shoves it back down.
Pertaining to those pendants, this Maloff spoke through them earlier before doing what he did. Emma, is this a similar spell of power as the same of the circle? Pointing to the protection circle.
I'm sorry, Dylan says. I'm sorry, I don't quite understand the question. Is what a similar spell of power?
Maloff spoke through the pendant, and he doesn't have one. To break
Well-
that and perform that action
Felix
is it
kind of
the
chimes.
same as the power put into this circle. I'm just trying to compare on whether we're being listened to and don't even know it.
Felix kind of chimes in. Generally, with warlocks, your patron has a line to you, and it's assumed that they can affect you, but on this scale is new. I've never read about it.
He only spoke through the pendant after I'd used it.
Well, did he speak to you through the pendant, or did he speak to you in your mind? Because that's a big difference. Because who gave you the pendant?
Shannon,
Heard it through
do I know the answer to that?
He spoke to you through your mind. He spoke to the party through the pendants.
Yeah. He spoke to my mind, but what did you all hear?
We heard Maloff saying that you would be preoccupied for a time.
That's not what I heard.
I think because you were attuned, would it be, well, I think because you were attuned to the stone and you have a connection to him through your pact, I would venture a hypothesis of he could reach out and use the item for his benefit because you were attuned to it.
Emma just
I
kind of
think-
shrugs.
The implications of that are frightening.
To have that kind of power, and Shannon, is it a common idea that Fae don't lie, or is that like a kind of a niche thing to know?
Man, what would that be?
Would it
I
be
would
Arcana or
s-
history?
I would say it's not history because history's. I would say history is relegated to the plane you're on most of the time. Yeah, roll an Arcana check, I guess.
Passive 15, or just roll?
Yeah, no, for that I'm gonna need a roll.
Okay. Nat fucking 20.
Nice. So yeah, with a 25, that's definitely enough. They're known to choose their words carefully. The colloquialism is that Fae never lie, but that's honestly not true. They lie all the time through lies of omission, through double entendres, through misleading people into believing that they're saying something exactly opposite of what they're actually saying. Their words are twisted all the time. So the idea that they never lie is based on the fact that they are known to never directly state something that is demonstrably false.
So kind
They're
of like the
constant-
idea is that they are constantly speaking in circles.
They
in a way.
are consummate politicians.
So Felix looks over and what if he hasn't won, but he's to the point where he's sort of drunk with power, and thinks that his victory is assured and is preemptively claiming the title. Either way, we know that he must have gained considerable power if he's able to puppeteer, and looks over at Emma. I'm sorry for the verbiage, but it's fairly apt at this point. But puppeteer someone with a pre-existing connection across the plains.
And right about this time, you guys start to hear somebody walking as the sounds of footfalls echo through the hallway to the north that would lead back to the cellar and the hidden entrance into this downstairs cavern.
I pull my pistol.
As soon as I actually wanted to say when the guy mentioned somebody was coming in because he was having somebody come down, I wanted Emma to recast disguise self.
Yeah, no problem. Easy enough to do. And you guys watch as a moment of tension as Ninier Elsinane, the keeper who actually greeted you upon your initial arrival in Bright Hollow, appears in the doorway.
Easy, Titus. Easy. She's friendly.
The dark-haired, pale-skinned high elf takes a glance at you holding a pistol. Are you pointing it at her?
No, I just have it drawn to my side, and then I put it back in when I realize that everybody kind of sees her and knows her. I mean, Titus was thinking Maloff was just going to walk in and just fuck us all up.
Just like Vecna in Critical Role, he's just standing in the corner the entire time.
And she enters, passing by you, Titus, and says, sorry to put you on edge.
It's natural.
Walks down, says, looks over at you guys and says, hello again, and looks at the custodians. You needed to speak with me? Dylan sits back in his chair a little bit and says, yeah, anything interesting going on the other side that you are aware of? Ninier kind of glances around the room. Not particularly. And Syncope says, have you checked in with your friend lately? Every day. And then Obed Valaxian walks up and says, well, it seems that Maloff has declared victory. Look of concern comes across Ninier's face. That would be news to me. I mean, hold on 1 second.
Felix chimes in. Who's this friend that you speak of?
And right as you are saying that, he says, if this would ever load. And she raises the staff up that she walks with as a walking stick, and she just kind of twirls it around in a circle, and all of a sudden there's vines that start crawling down and wrapping around her hand down the bottom of the stairs, and says, well, I mean, I can still do what I do, so if, she wasn't in charge anymore, I don't think I would be able to do that.
What?
I think she's the warlock of the true Queen of Air and
True
Darkness.
Queen of Air and Darkness.
And anyway, so Syncope
Wait,
just says,
wait, you talked to the Queen of Air and Darkness?
I mean, I don't have dinner with her.
Well, I'm not talking about an amorous relationship. You have a direct line to her?
She's my patron.
Kind of looks over at Emma. Well, this isn't awkward at all.
Does Emma know the queen's name?
No. You know the name of the Summer Queen. You've never heard the name of the Queen of Air and Darkness.
Okay.
Let me guess it's Petra.
What?
It's an Air and Darkness, and let me guess it's Petra.
Oh, not
The Queen of
Aaron
Air and
Darkness. Not
The Queen-
Aaron Darkness. Air
Queen of
and
Air and
Darkness.
Darkness.
We're gonna call her that. It's not Aaron Darling anymore. It's Aaron Darkness.
Aaron Darkness.
I am the hero the city needs.
Oh my god. That's fantastic.
Oh shit.
Aaron, when you watch this, we love you. We miss you.
It's fantastic.
Felix goes, well, given everything that's happened, I would hate. How do I put this tactfully? There seems to be a great deal of canoodling. I don't know. Cavorting. There's a better word for it. Perhaps he absorbed her or bound her and is ruling in her incapacitated state.
I mean, it's like trying to consume a force of nature. I would love to see him try.
I mean, we did just, well, you weren't here for that, but there's a lot of things that
Hey, Emma sort of speaks up. What if? Okay, so there's multiple Feywilds. There's multiple material planes. What if Maloff took overthrown the Winter Court in another Feywild?
Oh, and you have she had, because remember, this was the one who took quite a shine to you, Emma, and was talking to you quite a bit about the Feywild on the way to the bathhouse. And she just kind of has the look of like the admiring older sister when like your younger sibling says something that's just adorable. And she starts walking over toward you, and she just kind of plops down next to you on the steps and put her over there. Or actually right there. Yeah. So she's just sitting beside you. She just plops down and she's like, it doesn't work like that, honey. There are lots of different, well, there's just one Feywild. There's only one Queen of Air and Darkness. The Feywild is huge and expansive, but there's not multiple versions of either queen, either the Queen of Air and Darkness or, Goody Two Shoes. So there's no chance of him taking over some sort of imposter's court, because there isn't an imposter's court. In all of the multiverse, there is one gloaming court and there is one summer court. And that's all there ever will be.
With Titus's studies, can I roll Arcana on that?
Sure. Anybody who wants in on it, roll me an Arcana or a religion.
Oh. So that was weird. Preemptive roll, but okay.
Emma just kind of blinks, and I'll roll 1, 2. Arcana.
So then
I'm rolling garbage today.
Felix looks over at Ninian. But back to the bound principle, not necessarily absorbed. What if it was a matter of binding and then channeling the power through a medium so as not to be burned necessarily by direct contact. Sort of like magnifying the sun's rays. The magnifying glass doesn't take damage, but anything under it does. And anything being touched by the sun's light doesn't really have that much of an effect. Do you on the same page?
Oh, I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Because she would still be alive and possibly give Maloff the chance to intercept your communications and lie to you, or play imposter.
What do you mean? What do you mean? This is Ninier Elsinane who says this. She looks up at you, taking her focus off of Emma for a second. What do you mean intercept communications?
You said that you speak to her.
Oh, yes. I see what you're
Well,
saying.
if she's bound, Maloff has the leash. He could feasibly modulate his voice, and Fae are good actors, so they can impersonate anyone fairly well. What if he's pulling the wool?
And I got to give him credit. He's really good at what he does. I don't buy it, though. I mean, the Queen of Air and Darkness isn't somebody that you can sit down and have tea with. She's not. She's a force of nature. She would be like.
Right. She's the cold, biting blizzard. She is the darkness of space. She is the stillness of night. But right now, I know I have quite a way with words, don't I? But right now, oh, sorry, we never said this. What if Maloff is being supplemented by an aberrant? Because that would put him outside the bounds, and he's looking back to Ninier. That would put him outside of the bounds of natural order, and looks back at the table, and subsequently allow him to fuck with reality, in a sense.
And at this point, Obed Valaxian pitches in and says, Maloff's armies are teeming with aberrant creatures. It is the foundation of his assault on the Gloaming Court.
So what if Maloff is no longer the usual Fae that we know, and is now something different?
We in the Vigilant Wardenry believe Maloff may have forged an alliance directly with Phaedron Corvain.
Well, that I understand. It would make sense as to why Phaedron would know Emma's father, and Maloff seems to be 2 steps ahead of us, but what if there's a common thread above even those two? What if it's that being that we saw earlier in the Astral Sea?
It is possible. If I were to posit a guess, I would imagine that it is more likely that whatever it was that you saw in the Astral Sea is quite possibly working for Phaedron Corvain. It seems that he has his fingers spread across multiple planes, all focusing on this location. He could definitely be working for someone, but if it goes further up the ladder, so to speak, we haven't found any traces of that.
Maloff has... I have a concern. Maloff has yet to give me a task. Maloff has not told me to do anything.
That is bizarre.
Unusual.
Yeah. The Queen of Air and Darkness is asking me to do stuff all the time. Like, all the time.
Does that get any particular reaction from her? Because I don't think she knew that Maloff was Emma's patron.
Good point. No hard feelings. You know, like your patron, my patron. You know, that doesn't mean you and I can't be friends. It kind of nudges you with her elbow.
Emma just kind of giggles and
She puts her arm around you and like senses to see whether or not it's comfortable for you.
she sort of like tenses up for a second and then sort of leans into it.
All right, so as you tense up, she kind of like pulls the arm away, and then as you lean in, she just wraps it closer around you. And she's got her walking stick, and she's just kind of leaning it, like in her hand, leaning up against it.
Yeah.
I knew I liked you.
Well, Obed, right? Obed Valaxian.
Yes.
Where do we go from here? Because we've sat around this table, no offense, it's a lovely decor. Absolutely loving the spell circle at the moment, even though I had my apprehensions. What do we do?
Dylan just kind of nods. It comes in handy. Well, I believe your path ahead is clear. You go to Verine Manor.
Well, right, but what are the steps ahead? What are the benchmarks? What are the things to keep an eye out? Because I'm getting rather sick of, no offense, Emma, tall, dark, and fucking annoying popping in, being 3 steps ahead of us.
Well, if Phaedron Corvain made some sort of a pact with Madame Verine, perhaps there will be a chance for you to uncover its nature and find what happens next. If not, then perhaps we follow Phaedron Corvain toward Riverrun.
Obed, there are 2 individuals who serve with us on the security detail. They were reformed individuals, but I feel that they need purpose after Odicfest is done. Would you be keen to accept them as a page of sorts and assist you in this going south to Riverrun?
The Wardenry is selective in who we work with. But I would not mind vetting these people, especially if you vouch for them, Felix.
No, Felix. Felix, don't throw away. You were going to turn them into more warlocks.
We still have some time. I vouch for them. And I would like to have a conversation with you in private, if we could. Just sort of touch base. And give them a blessing before heading out.
Are you busy later this evening?
No. Wide open. Well, except for guard duty. But
What time does your shift end?
shift ends at, what was it again, 11, correct? 11.
I'll find you.
Cheers. All right. Well, I don't know about all of you, but this cave air's starting to make me go cross-eyed. I need some fresh air. Anybody else?
Felix, please.
Yes, Titus.
I believe that there's something that needs to be said. This
Between you and me?
This Corvain Lich created these zombies. That what is led to be believed?
Obed
That's what he-
Valaxian says yes. That is what we believe at the time being. And
That's what he
this,
wrote in his
holding
book.
up the book, says this would lead me to believe that that is correct.
Well, in the situation that obviously the world is facing now, I believe that information that needs to be given.
What?
What if he had access to openly study a latent?
You mean a ley line?
And then I'm just being quiet and seeing if there's any recollection on anyone.
Roll an insight check.
Would his timbre of speech give me a hint, or would that be just really eclectic knowledge?
Felix, you can roll me a history check.
$20, unnatural.
You have never heard of anything called a latent before. Obed Valaxian just kind of looks at you and says, I'm sorry, a what?
A latent.
I'm sorry. I have to profess ignorance. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I agree. What are you talking about?
It's from the old world, before the conflux. Confluent.
Okay. We need more to bite on.
I am Titus Nicholas Octavius III, of the House Amar, rogue of the forgotten art of Baraturgy, Barar of the latent line, keeper of the ring of Octavius, and protector of my family. And this is what I am. And then I go into full form.
And you guys watch as Titus's form begins to... At first, you think he's melting. Like, it literally looks like his skin is melting away, but then you realize what is melting away isn't actually his skin, it's his pigmentation. So this rosy, like, pink flesh, at first you think is actually like falling off of his body, but what's falling away is that skin tone. And underneath is just white. And I don't mean white like Caucasian, I mean snow white, alabaster white.
You mother.
And it just drains away until what stands before you is a smooth-skinned, hairless, almost featureless face, two solid pools of black staring back at you.
Felix walks up. Oh, I can't see shit now. Felix walks up, just sort of.
And Phaedron Corvain had me for 3 days studying what I am.
What are you?
I just told you.
Yes,
Is
you
this
told me your
anything
role.
I'd recognize, Shannon?
Say what now?
Is this anything I've ever seen before?
You know what? You roll me a history check.
Felix is looking you over. Yes, I know your role and your name, but what are you? You're not necessarily human.
Come on.
You are familiar
I'm
with
using
any
my
number
inspiration.
Okay.
Oh, much better.
17. Close as you can tell, he might be a doppelganger. Wouldn't make sense though, because you've seen doppelgangers in their natural form.
Yeah.
And their skin is actually like almost like charcoal black. And this is the exact opposite of it. But you have, in your time in the Feywild, you have actually seen doppelgangers change their appearance, and that is what the way that they take and drop their appearance look very similar to what you just saw Titus do.
And then I go, I was created to infiltrate the Alborn in order to recover one of my kind. Now, looking at Felix going, I don't know the history of my kind other than we are an old race.
That's perfectly fine. Well, are you... Wait a second. Are you really part of the Octavius family, or is this a secret of the entire Octavius family?
Yes.
Emma kind of leans over to
Say
the.
what?
I say yes.
So the entire Octavius family is
No, not the entire.
but a good number.
We could speak on this in further detail. I just want to make sure that all cards are on the table, that this lich studied me for 3 days. And if he had created these zombies by mixing 2 different undead species, I am very scared of what he could create with the knowledge he learned from researching me.
Felix kind of just very carefully takes both sides of your face, if you'll allow.
Oh no.
So-
And then he immediately puts Titus back on, and then he's back up, and he's like, "I am being very vulnerable right now,
I know.
and I understand that you're wanting to caress my face, but we're not going to do that today." And I walk over here.
All right.
Well, Felix just sort of looks at everybody and goes, "Well, that's what I get for trying to be nice. Fuck all of you. I'm walking out."
Emma
And
kind
Felix
of
goes out.
All right.
Emma kind of leans back to the, looking at the other fucking warlock in the room, and it's just like, did he look like a? That would look like a doppelganger.
Yeah,
but not, but wrong. Different.
Tell you what, kid, just keep your eyes open. You'll see all kinds of shit in this life. I don't even question it anymore. Obed Valaxian walks up to you, Titus. Could we have a word in private at some point, Lord Octavius?
Maybe.
Actually, if you don't mind, and this is Dylan Fiasco, I'm thinking that conversation might be better had in public.
I almost agree with you.
Wh-
I came here for a reason. The bards have the oldest history to document. And my goal was to infiltrate you all and learn what I can from your documented history. I'm hoping this blatant act will allow me to search your history for my kind and anything on them.
Dylan looks around the table and I really hate to be the asshole here, but you're about to be real disappointed. And
It wouldn't be the first time.
across the table from him, the human female younger with the long red braid, she sits up and a little bit and she pulls on her hair a little bit. She says, well, written history isn't exactly our forte. The problem with written history is that anything written can burn. We're looking to preserve on a more fundamental level. And then next to her, the dark-skinned gentleman wearing the breastplate. We have preserved the history of Zekrus since our founding, but not in writing. We don't have a grand library like the Sabian Conclave, and we don't have...
Just sheer disappointments melting on my face.
What we have is our story. And I've never heard of anything like you in our story. Any of you, brothers and sisters? Oxen. There are whispers, stories of those among us impostors. Much of this is dismissed as the result of the confluence. Something new that came to Zakarist along with my people and the Tabaxi and the corruption of the orcs and the goblin folk. Except for one problem. There is evidence to show that these stories predate the confluence by centuries. That these visitors have been among us for a long time, dating back to a time where only those who could be of this world could be in this world. Lord Octavius, I don't know what you are, but the courage and the trust that you have shown here tonight, it moves me. I will do everything I can to find your answers. The Aethris is an ally in your quest. He sits back.
I would like for this to be kept as well as the secret as could keep. Oh, it's only a verbal.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be, honey, says Syncope. I mean, you know, I'm kind of with Red over there. To Paul's. I think we could go a little bit further than just, you know, giving our word, right? The custodians all kind of look around at each other. It hasn't been done in a while, says Tanea. Yeah, no, Dylan says. Nah, yeah. I think we need to show a sign of respect to our friend here. If I could get everybody to please, you know what? You're gonna have to deal with your friend Felix because he bolted on us. So that's gonna be up to you. Everybody else, gotta get you to step inside the circle, please.
Can I grab the pendant and try and send a message to Felix?
Yeah, you've got the messaging pendant.
Felix steps back. I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
All right. One by one, I assume, unless anybody specifically says otherwise, I am assuming everybody is adhering to the request of the custodians.
That's weird. Everything went black for me on the map.
Did it go black for you too?
Scroll down.
No, I mean, I can still see
you see the shadow?
I can still see the shadow, but when I moved into the circle, everything went black.
Yeah, because that's why I had Felix storm out, because I couldn't see anything.
Are you seeing now?
No.
Let's see. I'll try and refresh my page.
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah, because I whispered to you, Shannon, trying to fix it, and I just had him back there on the corner.
Oh, got it. I got it.
Let's see. Okay, there's the top of the map.
Okay, I can.
Oh, that worked.
Yeah, must have just been a glitch.
Must have been a hiccup.
Give me 1 second. I got 2 of them. I got to refresh. Hey.
All right. You guys, everybody in the room steps inside.
Did
Alright.
the pig step inside?
Well, Xanthion's got the pig.
Okay.
So yes, the pig is inside. And yeah, for funsies, we'll just put all of them down here.
Hey, did you make a spirit totem thing for the pig? You said
No.
you were. You said you were.
I was going to, but I did not, and I just realized I forgot to do that. Yep.
This is very saddening.
So sorry to
could you?
disappoint. All right, let's go. Yeah, Roll20 is being weird for me right now too, actually.
Running fine for me.
All right. All right, let's do that. There we go.
Natari just hops on the table.
And so everybody's looking around at each other. The custodians are all looking around, and it's like, okay, well, which one's going to do it? And Dylan's like, oh, what the hell? I'll do it. And he pulls out this harp, and he starts playing, and he starts strumming his fingers around. This beautiful, haunting melody starts filling the chamber. And then as his fingers strum, it's like you can like sound is vibration, and everybody knows that on a conceptual level, but it is like actually you can feel the vibrations of these strings resonating throughout the muscle and sinew of your body. And he strums like more and more frantically, building up speed, and then he starts to sing, and the words that come out of his mouth at the same time both seem like a language that you have heard and are very familiar with, and yet at the same time completely alien and just unidentifiable. Like the sounds don't make sense what you're hearing, but at the same time it's like remembering a lullaby that you were sung as a child as you were being put to bed, and the sound just builds, and you're filled with this feeling of just at the same time a sense of awe and a sense of comfort, just like overwhelming beauty. And some of you even feel like tears start streaming down your face at just the absolute magnificence of the performance that is happening. And obviously this is more than just somebody playing a song, as you feel the notes suffuse you and penetrate your mind. And I need everyone to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Natural 20.
Nice.
I'm assuming it's not to avoid or end a charmed condition.
It is not.
Okay. 22.
Okay.
Why is it not coming up on here? Little icon to push for a wisdom save. There.
No, did it not show up?
18.
Well, it showed up in the campaign log on D&D Beyond, but didn't show up in Roll20.
I mean, can I choose to fail it?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I would think that we would want to fail this, right?
Yeah. So far, everyone has failed it.
I failed the shit.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Even with an
never
nat
mind.
20. Holy shit.
The DC is 24.
Bonker.
I could have gotten it if I got a 19.
Your roll hasn't come over yet, Emma.
They didn't. I don't know why.
It's in the D&D Beyond campaign log.
Okay. And slowly, the chords of the harp just fall silent. Okay, that should do it. Thanks.
What was that?
Oh, that was the song of creation, says the red-haired custodian.
What does it do?
Oh, it does whatever you want it to do, says the blue-haired elf sitting to the right of Ephaxis Gale and Oxen Pavel. It does everything. It is the foundation of all reality. And in this case, we're using it to keep a secret.
Titus just is overwhelmed with thankfulness, and
So, like, are we
at
like
the same time scared.
physically unable to divulge Titus's secret?
You don't know.
Hmm.
One thing you do know is that you have never seen magic of the type that you just witnessed. It was not a spell. There were no components. This did not seem like a ritual casting. Whatever just happened is something on another level, but the closest that you have ever felt to what just occurred is there were a handful of evenings in the Feywild where Emma witnessed sirens singing their siren song.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the only feeling that you have ever had that comes anything close to what that experience just stirred in you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming back for that, Felix. I'm sure your friend appreciates it.
And I nod. And I guess I'm cleaning the tears out of my eyes too.
Your call.
Yeah, Emma probably cried a bit too.
Look over at Felix and just kind of be like, well, I guess we can leave this old damp cave now.
He's eyes straight forward.
And just look at everybody at the table and thank you.
We'll be in touch. Yes, Obed Valaxian says, yes, I will be catching up with some of you later.
And about what time is it now? Actually, no, dumb question. We're underground. We can't tell.
Yeah. And none of you have keen mind. So, yeah. So, Felix and Titus are leaving. Is everybody else following? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As you
Actually, is the what's her name?
In the air?
The one who greeted us.
Ninier.
Ninier Elsinane. Yeah.
Is she leaving?
No.
Yeah, Emma's gonna stay with the group. She'll leave.
Okay. All right. And one by one, you guys ascend out of Talabayard.
When I get into this room right here,
Yep.
I'm going to note where that brick was that she touched.
Roll an investigation check. Yeah, you find it easily enough with a 20.
All right. God, this is a maze getting out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless you guys just want to go through the map, I'm just going to kick it back over to Bright Hollow.
Well, you took the time to make it. I want to investigate it.
Going to the secret room.
Well, I'm not going to investigate it like Morlo and sneak into a secret room.
Or send the pig.
I like how like in the middle of everybody talking, Morlo was just like, Mhm.
That's magic shit. Morlo doesn't care about magic shit.
D&D Beyond's being weird.
So when we get up to the top,
All right, I'm out now.
about what time of day is it?
All right, so you guys get outside, and it is probably by this point it's probably about 8 o'clock at night.
Shit, our shift started at like what, 4?
Yeah,
That's about right. We were down there for 2 hours.
yeah, 2
Meeting
hours.
started at 6.
Yeah, you guys got called right around 6.
So it's just
The
straight
town's
to
on
work then.
fire.
Up.
Hmm?
It starts white for me. Reload.
It's really blurry for me. When you exit the building and we find out that the town is on fire because we went on guard duty.
All right. So you guys descend back down. As you guys come back down the lane toward Bright Hollow itself, as you approach the gate, it just opens.
I just sort of walk back quietly unless somebody talks to me.
Did the custodians have pendants?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Before Emma leaves the gates, she's gonna send like a message towards the custodians, if she can.
Mhm.
And she's just gonna say something like, "Later, I'd like to talk to you guys about ways that I might be able to get home."
You hear Dylan Fiasco's voice come over. Sure thing, kid.
And she'll leave. She'll just kind of like situate herself where she's like acting natural, because like I imagine it's because she thinks as soon as she leaves these gates, she's in Malof's vision again,
Okay.
and so she's just gonna step out, acting natural.
Okay. So it is about 8 o'clock at night. You guys are expected to return to the rest of your shift for guard duty this evening.
That's where I'm headed.
Okay. Is there anything anybody else wants to do before going back on security detail?
No,
All right. Need somebody to roll me a D100, please.
I'll do it.
Jim, you got
Oh
it.
yeah, Jim, do it. Goblin with the wand of purple heart.
Oh God. And the party dies. Just gone.
Where is that 100? Sheesh. Okay, there's D20, D12, D10. I'm going down.
I
Oh,
love you.
there's D100. Here we go. Did it go through?
Not yet. What was it?
No, you have to. Oh, you're just rolling the dice on D&D Beyond?
There it goes. I don't know.
49.
That's not good.
49.
Only was 20 more.
Nice.
Nice.
49. Okay. The rest of your shift passes without incident.
But a
I
train
don't
came down.
trust it.
I don't trust that laugh.
I just love it. I love that you guys get a decent roll that doesn't completely screw over the night for you guys, and you're like, nope, don't believe it. Not for a second.
I cannot believe that we've gone 10 minutes without being eviscerated or eviscerating someone.
Or trading off a horse not to be eviscerated.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of your evening passes without incident as you are patrolling the merrymaking of Bright Hollow on this third evening of Odic Fest. And your shift comes to a close at 11 o'clock as you are replaced on duty with the night shift, the graveyard shift, which also includes your friends, Felix, Golub, and Viper. And you are relieved. And what would you like to do?
Felix is going to get on the stone.
Is that a euphemism for anything? Oh, the messaging pendant. Got it. Yes. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh God, no. My brain went right to kidney stones. No, God, no. Oh,
That says a lot about you there, Christian.
yeah, I drink too much soda. It's a constant threat. So, gets onto the messaging stone. Titus, meet me in the orchard.
Yes, sir, boss. And then laughing through it, and then I'm going to send a message to Ned.
Yeah.
Ned,
Yeah.
I just did something very stupid.
Par for the course.
Yeah. I just told a group full of very powerful bards everything.
Okay.
Yeah. But in my
Well,
defense,
not dead.
we're facing like the end of the world or something from some big black tentacle thing coming from another dimension.
Oh yeah, I've watched hentai before.
I know where this is going. Oh, well, okay.
Just wanted to keep you in the loop.
I appreciate it, buddy. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Making my way to the orchard.
Okay.
Making my way downtown.
All right. So you guys meet up in the orchard unless there's anything else anybody wants to get accomplished before that. All right. So you guys meet up in the orchard.
So Titus, as you walk in, you see Felix just standing there, hands behind his back, staring up at the sky, faced away from you. Just kind of standing in a clearing in the moonlight. Is it a clear night, is it? I should ask.
Every night since you have been here has been crystal clear with an amazing view of the stars.
So Felix is just staring up into the moonlight.
Mm,
Are you checking the weather forecast?
no, I'm checking the moon. It is yep, the full moon was 4 days ago, so it's a pretty big moon. Quite a bit of moonlight.
Because, well, shit. What's my passive perception? It's probably garbage. Oh, it's 11. Yeah, it's garbage.
Why? What do you want to know?
I didn't know if Felix would hear him coming close or not.
I mean, are you trying to be stealthy, Titus?
Oh, no. Huh?
Yeah, no, you would hear him approach.
Felix just stares up, takes one hand and starts pointing at the sky. That constellation there. What was that? Okay, so Scott is now rolling D100 from now on.
I was just clicking to see what would happen. Sure.
So he just says, "Do you see that constellation there? Not turning away."
Do I know the name of the constellation? I mean, if it's
Sure.
yes, I see it.
That constellation. That constellation right there, the cluster of 7 stars. I have hated that number for a long time. I have a group of friends, numbered of 7, or adventuring party, I guess. 7 days in a week. And I'm the seventh family. You took a big risk tonight. And I didn't treat it for what it was. And for that, I apologize. Still staring up. So I guess it's fair to do the same to you. And Felix starts to take off his robe.
Felix, I put my hand up.
He's not staring at you.
I'm just stop. I
And
already know
lowers-
you're a noble.
And he lowers his shirt. I know you know I'm a noble. And then
I know you know, I know you know, I know that you're
Oh
a
my
noble.
God.
the
I know
never-ending you knows.
know that I know that you know that I know.
And he lowers his shirt to show his back. And what you see is slightly reworked barbarity.
You should have it on your screen.
Um,
The red is scar tissue around the center of his back and the other bits as well. The black is tattooed ink, but the eye in the center, more prominent, seems off, but it looks like a tattoo.
The symbol in the center, Titus, you recognize immediately as the arcane symbol signifying celestials.
is that the only
Everything-
one I recognize?
No.
Oh.
With your arcana, you would know that it is bound by a series of infernal symbols and elemental symbols, seeming to be an attempt and a very rudimentary and poorly conceived one to try to bind a celestial nature by trying to counterbalance it with what would be considered its opposites, so to speak. It's messy work. It's not particularly well done, and it looks like it probably hurt like hell to inflict on somebody. As far as the eye in the center, that is the symbol of the even-handed, one of the 12 gods of the Zechariah pantheon. And as you can tell, the underlying symbol looks to have been faded, although it is still present, as the eye has taken precedence over it.
Can Marlowe see this happening at all, or are they out of sight?
You guys, it's just the two of you in the orchard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, Morlo is not there.
Okay.
Was someone trying to bind your touched power?
Yes. This is the reason why I had my misgivings about you, and why I don't brandish my name. But you showed a greater courage than I possess, and I treated you with an unkindness and was selfish. And so this is only fair.
What
This
does
is the reason I distrust the Alban, as it was at the behest of my father to do this.
Oh,
For 4 years, I was locked in the dungeon of my estate, and I start to turn, facing you now. For 4 years, I was kept in darkness and shadow, and you have lived in it your entire life. Let us walk in the light. No more secrets.
Ew.
well, reflecting on the meaning of what I have witnessed in a short time of being with this group, the Dragonborn word for Kato comes to mind, which means to change, transform, which makes sense, I guess, because today I plan to become more than the man I am. Forgive myself for the wrongs I was born into. It's funny though. Everyone, I think, has some memories they're more proud of than others, right? Maybe that's why change is so scary. Because the things we wish we could leave behind, whispers we wish we could silence, the nightmares most want to wake up from, memories wish we could change, secrets we feel that we must keep, the hardest to walk away from. The good stuff, the images in our mind that fade away the fastest. These pieces of you feels maybe I don't want to forget. Maybe that's what this day is all about, right? I have
No.
witnessed this group risk everything to save a stranger. Watched as they forgave others that had moments before tried to kill them. I've seen emotions blossom on each of their faces that they desperately fend off from facing. Today I have learned that your group of people have faced far more than what I have witnessed. That powers beyond comprehension are at work, may be both against them and to aid them. I have sworn to repay my rescue with my thankful tongue. Today I say fuck it, and I amend that oath. I will repay your kindness with everything I am. I am a protector of my family. If you'll have me, I would like you to be one of the family I choose.
I, Felix Augustus Flavius Septim II, greet you with open arms, my brother.
Can I just give him a hug?
I return the hug.
Oh, that was beautiful. Comes the voice of Ned in your head.
I just kind of grin and then turn and walk away.
Yep. Oh, hey, Titus.
Yes.
There's some dude walking around looking for you guys. Really pale, blonde hair. Kind of
Ah.
looks like military type.
Where's he at?
Town square. He's asking around for you guys.
Hey, Felix.
Hmm?
That soldier is looking for us in the town square.
Oh,
I have Ned watching my back.
who's Ned?
My cat. He's actually a
Right.
familiar.
Do I see a cat?
No.
Have you not seen Ned? Has Felix not seen Ned?
No, Felix hasn't seen Ned.
Oh, perfect.
Oh.
I'll introduce you.
Huh?
He's a celestial.
Oh. Well, at least you're not running around with an imp. Just sort of shoves his cloak back on, begins walking with him. Did I ever tell you? No, I wouldn't have told you, but there was this one noble bastard. Oh, God. Meritus line. Just an absolute prick.
You know I was at your naming day, right?
I figured. But did you know my father? He's a
No.
piece of shit.
I did not know your father.
Oh, lucky you. But anyway, did you know anything about my siblings? Catariah? Pelagius? How are they?
Do I? I mean, I'm going to say no, so we don't have to get into it. And unless you're wanting to
This is
add
just
in-
all. This is just all like passing
Yeah,
conversation.
this is just small talk. We can hand wave this.
Okay.
And so you guys arrive back in the town square, and do find Obed Valaxian kind of sticking out like a sore thumb among all of the frivolity and all of the, fun merrymaking that's being had, looking very businesslike. And he's got a calico cat weaving figure eights through his legs.
Is that the cat?
Yes, that's Ned.
Ned? And in Celestial, I'll say, who's a good boy?
Meow.
Oh, don't play coy with me. And then in Celestial, I'll say, seriously, don't fucking try me. Who can play that game, kitty?
All right. So yeah, you guys walk up to Obed Valaxian. He's like, "Oh, good evening.
Yeah, I believe you were looking for us.
Yes, your companions as well. I believe it might be in our best interest to have a conversation."
I get onto the stone. Natari, Emma, Morlo, Petra, Xanthion. Just handing in. What was that old show where everyone said goodnight to each other?
Good night. Good night, John.
Good night,
Boy.
Jim Bob.
Good night,
Good
good
night,
night, John.
They've
Boy.
done that so much. I think it was on Hee Haw originally.
No, it was. Oh, what was it? It wasn't Little House on the Prairie. What was it? I don't know. We'll look that up. Yeah.
So Felix gets on and calls them all, and it's like, town square, let's go.
Emma starts heading towards town square.
Yep. All right, and you guys all meet up in the town square with Obed Valaxian. Oh,
I'll be right back, gang. Keep playing.
all right, no problem.
Okay.
We should probably have a conversation about your upcoming journey to Verine Manor and a few other things. I felt a bit rushed at the tryst. Is there anything else that I can answer for any of you?
Who are the Vigilant Wardenry?
That I feel like I covered fairly well. Simply an organization of watchers.
What's the purpose? Like the abiding regency protects the lines of kings, so on and so forth. No directive from a god, no government contract. This is just surely out of shared passion.
It's very much an issue if someone has to do it. And with each passing year, it seems like there is more and more attention put in our direction, and the need to rise to that challenge grows.
Is
And
there
so-
a bench nearby?
You guys are actually walking and talking as he is leading you guys away from the town square and into into the apple orchard, because it
Oh, God.
provides a bit of cover, so to speak.
Felix just plucks an apple.
Mm-hmm.
So, How fucked are we?
I am a firm believer in the fact that we have yet to face any obstacle that we have not overcome. Hopefully that trend continues. I am concerned that the attention has now spread beyond just our plane of existence. We are seemingly being cut off from the rest of the material reality. And this would give rise to your assertion that things are becoming more difficult for outsiders to be able to contact us. I'm not entirely certain why we are being sequestered, but I'm concerned. And I believe that your group offer a chance for us to peek beneath the veil a bit to see what is going on. As I read this, and he pulls the book from underneath his cloak, it seems that this attempt, whatever this was unsuccessful in accomplishing his goals.
What was his goal exactly? It couldn't be just to create annoying little biters.
No. If I were to posit a guess, I believe it was to do exactly what is being done right now, undermining the very foundation of our society.
If you had something that he had physically wrote, something by his own hand, could you find him?
Possibly. It would be easier.
I reach
he
in my
write?
hand and pull out the book that he had been writing about all the animals and stuff he had been dissecting.
Okay.
Wait, weren't those books written by the same person?
This one was written by him.
That one wasn't?
No, don't
Pointing to
believe
Obed.
so. I don't believe so. But I'm not sure. I also have pull out, I guess, 4 or 5 pages of the notes that he has taken on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for certain this page was written by him.
But you don't believe that this is. And he holds up the notebook.
The medical notebook?
The one that has Verine written in the corner.
Oh, I'm unsure if he wrote it or not. I don't know about that one. I just know when I was bound to his table, I heard him scribing on something. And I believe it was... I know for certain it was one of these pages. Now, as far as this book, I am unsure.
Very well.
And I
You
give
have my
him
gratitude.
I give him one of the pages of where I don't give him the book. I just give him one of the pages that I know for sure he was scribing on.
Got it.
This is some of the information he learned of me.
You have my gratitude.
I want to say that it, like, where they're grouped up here, every now and then Emma has been like shifting her feet and looking at Titus.
The Waltons. Jim is right. It was the Waltons. Thank you, Jim. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Isaac. Shifting
And
her
like
feet.
it looks like she's just waiting to say something, but she's like politely waiting for the conversation to be over.
Got it. Yes, well. Emma, you look like you have something to say.
It is not important for this here.
Oh, very well. Titus, I would
Yes.
very much like to discuss your history further at some point, whether in front of your companions or in private, whichever is more comfortable for you.
I don't mind if they're there to listen. I would like it not to be so public. Since we're walking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're in the trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell if anyone is watching. Maybe a room.
Certainly. Do you have somewhere in mind?
I don't live here.
Xanthion reaches down into his collar and pulls out the messaging pennant and is like, "Hey, Lilith, can we use the North Gatehouse for a little while?" Okay, cool. And
Felix turns to him. Are we honestly using your shag pen to discuss matters of the world?
he just turns beet red.
Oh, Lord. Buddy, trust me. Never mind. All right. Plucks some
Emma-
apples, tosses them at everybody. Yeah, have some food. Can't discuss
Emma-
the end of the world on an empty stomach.
Emma sort of gestures to her dark shard amulet and is like, "You want me to go?"
Why are you still wearing that, child?
It's
Force a habit.
It's really cool.
it's a. I mean, the way Emma understands it now, because it lets her draw more power from her patron than she's supposed to, but apparently it's a two-way street. At least that's what she kind of thinks of it as. It's complicated.
Well, personally, I am of the opinion that Malov has been a step or two ahead of us the entire time, so I'm not entirely certain if there's anything that we're going to discuss that he doesn't already know. If you believe it would be prudent not to attend, I absolutely understand.
She kind of shrugs.
I believe, Emma, that you have been left alone to your own devices for long enough. So whatever you're facing, how about we face it together?
Well said.
I'm sorry, are you a doppelganger?
Distant relation.
Okay. And that was what she's been wanting to ask the entire time.
Nice.
And get to the room.
Yeah, you guys are walking through. As you're walking from the apple orchard to the North Gatehouse, which actually there is a straight shot that does not have to take you into Bright Hollow, so it's actually a relatively tranquil walk. Obed Valaxian kind of sidles up next to you, Felix, and with his voice low. I don't mean to pry. I couldn't help but notice your immense concern when I was discussing the outbreak in Parassus.
Yes. I need something to bite on.
Do I
Are
hear him
you-
saying this?
Roll me a perception check. He is intentionally trying to be quiet. So with an 18, let me roll stealth for him to see if he can be quiet enough not to let you overhear. No, you're able to overhear it.
Okay.
Are you? There's no real delicate way to put this. Are you of the nobility of Parassus, Felix?
Yes.
Are you Felix Septim?
Yes. Does that change things?
He just smiles. Well, probably not for you. It does for me.
All right,
I-
be blunt.
I haven't seen you since you were very, very young. I served with your father.
Oh, let's just put it to bed, shall we? Please don't mention that bastard in my presence.
One has daddy issues.
Looks over at Natari. At least not so much that I have to serve a goddess called the Blessed Mother. I'm sure he was an upstanding individual. I really do. But
Perception on his reaction to Felix's.
You mean like just what his?
Yeah, just what his take on was. Never mind.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
Your father spent his entire life terrified of things he could not understand. And he took that out on you. I am glad to see that you have endured what he put you through.
oh, so you knew what he did to me.
No, but I can imagine, given his reaction.
Turns back to Titus. So was this just widely known information, or was I just left out of the loop? Because I thought I was trying to hide something, but fuck it, if everyone knows.
I did not know anything about what you put through.
So did everyone just know that I was born to a sadistic twat? Or did I have to find it out the hard way?
Emma just puts her hand up. I didn't.
Thank you, Emma. Much love.
I certainly don't mean to defend anything that your father has done.
Oh, well, that's good. I thought we'd have a problem there.
And believe me, he has absolutely earned his title of Cast of the Cruel.
Oh, that's a new one.
It has very much come into favor since your departure from Parassus.
Really? Which departure? The departure where I was sent to the Conclave to be something of a hostage, or the departure where he found out that I was still sneaking into the city to see my siblings because I was worried for their safety? Which part? Because that's impressive to earn that moniker in about 6 months' time.
No, it has been recent. But there are whispers about what a monster he is. But I'm
Daddy dearest.
assuming that you have no idea what it is that makes him so absolutely terrified of anything that has to do with outsiders.
Say that again?
I'm certain that you have no idea what it is that has made him so terrified and paranoid about anything having to do with the extraplanar.
I mean, probably fearing for his immortal soul, that he's going to be sent screaming into the 9 hells, or even worse, to be gnawed on in the abyss for what he's done. I mean, both of those, I'd like a front row seat to. Other than that, no, I'd just say he's a xenophobic asshole. Tell me, if you are such in the know, how is my mother doing? Is she still the quiet, stone-faced bitch that she was when he kicked me out?
I am sorry. I don't mean to bring up and open old wounds like this.
Oh no, those wounds have been opened many times over the past week, trust me. This is just me trying to get information. How is Lady Hestra doing?
I wouldn't know. I haven't spoken to your father in 20 years. He and I had a falling out after our time serving together in Barbican.
And Felix takes a bite out of the apple, pats him on the shoulder. Well, look at that. We're in the same boat.
Did he ever mention his service with King Theobald?
No, never really talked about it much. Always kind of a domineering personality whenever he was dealing with old cousin Theo.
So he never told you what we faced together that day?
No, he never did. All I know is that he went on to be a shipping magnate and mogul of business, and that for a time my mother was a lovely, lovely woman who loved to plant her flowers and tend to them in the garden, and that he bore myself, Catariah, Pelagius, Honorius, and Cecilia, and that at least 2 were decent. The 5th is a wild card. Still have yet to see how he develops. I would like very much for him not to be anywhere near that bastard.
At this point, you guys have arrived at the Northgate house and start making your way inside. Lilith and Xantheon kind of giving a friendly nod to each other. You
Oh,
notice
we
her-
all know you bumped it. It's all right. Come on in. Let's go.
I wink at her.
I'm really done with the side talk here. Let's go.
and she smiles and waves back at you, Titus.
Don't steal Xanthion's woman.
He was petting a pig when she was dying.
That is true.
I missed that part.
I did not think of that.
Oh my god.
He very much was, wasn't he?
Actually, Felix kind of gets into the doorway, stops, turns back around. Everyone else through, real quick. I want to talk to our buddy here, real quick.
And Philaxian just hangs back, letting everybody else go in.
And they'll just go in. Yeah.
So everybody's there, Morlo and everybody.
Yes.
All right.
All right, Philaxian. Tell me what it is you aren't saying.
There isn't much that I'm not saying. I'm overwhelmed with what I have to imagine was the pain of your upbringing.
Oh, it was actually kind of enjoyable for the first 12 years, at least.
And then I assume something manifested in you, as
Yeah.
it tends to do around puberty.
Yes. And then I was locked in the dungeon, and then sent to the conclave when I was 18. Or 16, or whatever. Numbers, math. I'm a sorcerer. I just throw fireballs. I don't really do much with math.
Wrap it up.
The dovetail in.
Mhm.
The dovetail in.
Yes.
It's unaffected, right?
I don't know, but I can find out.
Please do. And this might be an overstep. Tell the owner. Sorry. Tell the owner that true love is a little bit of hope and luck mixed together. She'll know what it means.
I will.
Thank you. All right, let's go talk about the end of the world, shall we? Tally-ho.
Always.
Felix walks in. All
Steps
right.
inside. Well, I would say to each of you, please be very careful. Whatever is going on is much bigger than anyone is aware. I have done my best to inform those who can heed the warning. Something, somehow, Madame Verine is tied up in this. You are our best chance to find out how she factors in and find out exactly how Phaedron Corvain bridged the gap between his attempt with the hybrid creatures in the tomb of Neomachius and what is now facing this country. Sorry, this kingdom. You are our best hope.
So no pressure.
Oh, not at all.
Always.
The cat just tried to drink your beer.
Yes, the cat always tries to drink my beer.
Smart cat.
We have reason to believe that the afflicted communion has already infiltrated Bright Hollow. We have reason to believe that they are far more prevalent than the powers that be would let on. And they are very dangerous. I have tangled with them a number of times. I don't know what their end goal is, but it really has to be something dastardly.
Well, I don't expect much good to come out of a bunch of death-worshipping, murdering cultists. What I'm trying to figure out is, well, they revel in murder. They revel in the taking of life. But to kill everyone in existence, it just seems so shallow, too passé. They have to have something, or they're being used.
I have no doubt that Phaedron Corvain is using them. And, as I said, I know that Phaedron Corvain is not of this world. If I were to posit a guess, I would think that they're clearing the way for something.
Possibly the thing in the astral plane?
Possibly. We will see. But if you do not mind, I would very much like to know what you find out at Verine Manor.
Do we have some way of contacting you?
That was going to be my question. Can any of you cast sending?
Well,
No, I am unable to, as of yet.
Patridge shakes her head.
How
Sending's-
much?
sending's a third level, right?
Correct. What about you, Master
How much-
Priest?
I don't know. I have to check. You said level 3?
Yep. And it is a cleric spell.
Level 3. Oops. I thought someone cool would have it, not me.
And yeah, you're 5th level cleric, right, Jim?
I just have third level spells on here. No, I don't
Yeah.
see any.
You do have 3rd level spells?
I
You
think
should be
so.
able to just take a long rest and prepare it.
Yeah, because it's a cleric spell. So yeah, you would be able to prepare it after a long rest. Excellent.
Three of you suck. That's all.
So yes, if you wouldn't mind, please send word my way. Is there anything else I can do to be of assistance to any of you? I know it's very late.
Do you know of any way to travel to the other material planes?
There are crossings, and they are becoming considerably more common in Zekrist. They can be found.
If it's possible, could you find a crossing to a world that is or was once in the third age of, it was the Ethrin?
I will do my best.
Thank
Just
you.
know that there are a lot of worlds out there. But I will do my best to find yours.
Thank you.
I don't want to keep you up. I know it's very late. We have time to speak on this further. But if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask.
She just kind of nods. Thank you.
Well, thank you for spending some more time speaking with me. It is very fortuitous that our paths have crossed. Hopefully together we can bring this Corvain down.
Out of game, Shannon.
Yes.
Are you forgetting that the whole reason we came here was because he wanted to know more about Titus, what he actually is, or
No, he's saying, like, you guys can talk about that later if you're tired, because it is so late.
Okay.
He's like not wanting to keep you, because at this point it's pushing midnight, and he doesn't like. He's just trying to be like considerate of the fact that you guys had the tryst, the entire guard, like the guard shift, the tryst, and everything. And you guys are probably tired. And he said he is going to be around. If you want to talk about it now, you could address that with him. But he's just giving you guys a polite exit to get some sleep if you want it.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm staying up. I've still got a few questions. Titus, would you like to be alone?
I'm fine with staying awake.
Very well.
Please ask your questions.
Well, I don't even know really where to begin. What can you tell me about your people, Lord Octavius?
As I start talking, I slowly start changing into everybody that's in the room as I'm talking.
Okay.
We have drastic abilities that we stay hidden in plain sight. And as far back as I can remember, change shape into someone else.
Mm-hmm.
My nose is nowhere near that large.
And as far back as I can track, not remember, the founder of the Octavian line fell in love with one of my kind.
Clarification. It was the daughter of the founder of the Octavian line.
The daughter of the founder of the Octavian line fell in love with one of my kind. And we have remained in that household today.
Do you mind if I interject?
Actually, at this point, all of you hear a voice come over the messaging pendant. Felix, you immediately recognize it as the voice of Viper, because you have had the most interaction with him. And a little harried, you hear him say, "We need more security at the south gate. We're having some problems with these zombies."
Nope. Here we go.
And then you hear
For mechanic reasons, would Emma have been able to get a short rest in during her watch?
yes. And so you start moving, and you hear another voice come in that you identify as one of the members who's actually on the day shift of security. And it says, I mean, they're just zombies. What's giving you so much problem? And Viper's voice comes back on and says, well, for some reason, some of them are wearing plate armor.
Oh God, it's Neomachius and his retainers. Viper, pull back to the town square. Get as many people as you can out.
And that's where we'll pick up next session.
Experience?
Yeah, lots of excellent social interaction. Let's say an even 500.
Ah, mother trucker.
Huh?
Thank you.
Huh?
Do it odd. They hate when you do it odd.
Oh, Dean, Isaac, I just want you to know you've conditioned Dean to make me to want me to give you odd numbered experience.
Why?
Just because of your reaction
I'm
to it.
so cool.
Just so he knows I don't hate him.
Who